Good morning and welcome to EMS Abounds. This is my YouTube channel for Con Ed, CEUs, and this is an introductory video. I put the cart a little before the horse, if any of you have seen my videos already, because I had a refresher going on and I had to put some videos up for those folks to finish the refresher off. And I had done an introductory video 2 months ago. The problem is since then my plans for my channel have changed somewhat, my goals have changed, and so here it is. I've been in EMS a long time. I got my EMT in 1985. I've been a paramedic since 1988. I've been doing education professionally since 2008. But videography and social media is very, very new to me. So please, I ask for your patience while I get better at this. So who am I? Why can you trust me for some of these videos and this knowledge? So the majority of this last 30-something years has been in ER-based paramedicine. And when I say ER-based paramedicine, what I mean is I've worked in systems that run the ambulance and or intercept truck right out of the ER. And while we're not doing calls, we're doing nursing care in the ER. Our job descriptions are identical, right? Just the titles basically have changed. So registered nurse, job description A through Z, registered paramedic A through Z, plus your paramedic skill set. So what this has done is it's allowed me to come in with a patient and to stay with that patient. And so I get to watch the mid-level or the ER doc do their assessment. I watch them come up with their differential diagnoses, and then I look at the lab work, I look at the x-rays, I look at the CAT scans, and I see what their diagnosis is, and I get to ask them. I've been around a lot of very, very good nurses, respiratory therapists, x-ray folks, ER nurses, ICU nurses, floor nurses, the social services nurses, and learn what they're looking for in order to send these folks home with better care afterwards. And so that's what I try to bring to any of my classes. Why did I start teaching? Well, believe it or not, I know this sounds kind of corny. I like to help my patients and I like to help their families. So when I'm doing patient care, that's one-on-one. I'm affecting one person or one family at a time. When I'm mentoring somebody, that multiplies. So now there's two of us. And so I saw an avenue to exponentially improve patient care through education. And so that's why I do this. So I started out doing initial courses for certification, EMR, EMT, AEMT, and I do research and refreshers for everybody, including medics. I also do some courses, ACLS, PALS, CPR, for medical groups, doctors' offices, surgical centers, although that's kind of a minority of my business. EMS education has gotten fairly expensive, and I have tried to maintain a reasonable level of price increases across the board when I do a class. And this is one of the ways that I see that I can pass this on for free. I've always allowed my recertification students and my initial course students to come back and sit through classes, and I give them a certificate for that, for Con Ed. So this is just an extension of that. And I look forward to being able to do this and to help more people. So let's talk about what Con Ed is, or what CEUs are. You can use this if you're an EMS. You can use this if you're a nurse, LPN, RN, respiratory therapist, whatever. Just please, if you're not EMS, please make sure that you verify with your board of licensure what the requirements are for you to use distance learning. So let's talk about that. In EMS, we're going to use EMT as an example. You have 40 hours of CEUs that you have to have every 2 years. And they break this down into interactive and distributive. So interactive is your typical classroom. You're in that building, you're in that room with the instructor, and you say, hey, Kevin, what do you mean by this? But it also means interactive, web-based. So when I do a class for New Hampshire Fire Academy and EMS, and I'm in Concord at the Fire Academy, They've got web-based systems at Gorham and 45th Parallel and New London. And any of those folks can go, hey, Kevin, what did you mean by that? So it's interactive. Then the second form is called distributive. You can do magazine articles or journal articles, as they call them. You can do self-study, and you can do videos. And that's great. You can put that on your registry form, but you don't have a certificate. So what happens if you get audited? If it was me and I was viewing EMS Abounds, Diabetes for EMS, I would watch that video and then I would pull up my history and I would click on the history that says EMS Abounds, Diabetes for EMS, 1 hour, 15 minutes watched. I do a screenshot of it. That should help you. That should keep you in the good graces of National Registry or whatever state you're licensed in that doesn't require registry. Now, here's another avenue for you for this. Let's say you are a educational supervisor for your system. You're a training officer. You could pull up my EMS Abounds Diabetes for EMS video, and you could play that in the classroom for your 15 people on Tuesday night. And you could then certify that they watched this video. You know, you give them a copy of the roster, you put their training records in registry for them, or Firehouse, or you hand them a certificate. Have at it. I encourage that, okay? All I ask for in return, pretty easy. Subscribe to my channel and like the video. The more subscriptions, the more likes, the more people YouTube will put this in front of so they can also gain some benefit from this. Now let's talk what is approved education. We talked about how you can do it. Let's talk about how it's approved or what they require. So on the registry website it says either state approved or CAPC approved. CAPC is the Commission on Accreditation for Pre-Hospital Providers. There's a little misunderstanding when we did this rollout for NCCP, and people kind of took it to mean, well, I can have anybody teach a class and get credit for it. And yes, you probably can. If you got audited and that guy was having a bad day, I don't know how that works. Because on the registry site it says state approved or CAPC approved. I am not CAPC approved. I looked into it. And it's expensive. It's a yearly fee for an education company, and it's a headache and a half as far as the application process goes. And there is a per student fee as well. I'm not doing it. Because I am a New Hampshire Certified Instructor Coordinator, any class I put on is considered by New Hampshire EMS to be state approved. I have that in writing. Okay, so all of my videos are considered state approved. So that covers you for that. Again, if you want to do this for free and you're spending half an hour looking at videos and you watch this, go ahead and claim it. But again, when you enter it, make sure you put the date, who it was, the title of it, how long, and that it was distributed, okay? I am looking into a way to provide a certificate for you if you want one and you say you're not affiliated with a service, or your service folks won't help you out with this. What I need is a testing platform, and I'm looking at several of them right now. And this testing platform, at the end of the video, you would click on the link, it would take you to that site, you would take a little 5-question quiz on it. So 3 of the questions are very typical, say diabetic questions. 2 of them would be video specific. For example, question number 4. The majority of this video was shot in the A, Epping Fire Department classroom, B, Huggins Hospital conference room, C, Kevin's home office like this one, or D, Kevin's mobile office in his toy hauler at Fort Wilderness, Disney. Okay. It may start in Epping, it may end in Epping, but the majority of it might be in my toy hauler at Disney World. Okay, so that verifies you've watched the whole video. Now, the 5th question might be Kevin's perception or Kevin's view on the orange juice slurry is ABCD. Those testing platforms will cost me money. So therefore, I'm looking for one that is seamless and inexpensive, because what it costs me, I'm going to have to pass on. So a 5-question quiz might cost $250, but think of it this way: that would be $5 per credit hour, which is cheaper than most Con Ed is, and it's certainly cheaper than people charge for a refresher. Okay, so I'm hoping to have that done by May, hopefully no later than the beginning of June. So that will be an option for you. But in the meantime, or instead, do it for free and pass it on, please. That's all I ask. The other avenues or other parts of this channel are going to be communication, because I think communication is key. There are a lot of services doing a lot of pretty cool things in New Hampshire as well as around the country. So for New Hampshire, I mentioned medics working in the ER. We work in ERs. We work in walk-in clinics. We work in standalone ERs. We work in, and I'm talking EMTs, AEMTs, and paramedics. And we work in urgent cares. We work in factories as part of first response teams. So there's lots of neat things out there that are being done. Some of our services are doing mobile intensive health care, otherwise used to be known as community paramedicine. Some of them are very in-depth, and some of them are pretty simple. I want to talk to some of those folks to give other people ideas of how they can do things, and to give them maybe an avenue to bounce some questions off of those folks. I want to talk to New Hampshire EMS. I truly believe New Hampshire EMS is there to help us, okay, not to hinder us. And I think that might be a misconception. I want the head of New Hampshire EMS to talk about what his department does for us. I want to talk to the education folks. I want to talk to some of the fire academy folks about what options are out there for our volunteers, okay? I want to talk to our EMS coordinators and have them tell us what's going on in their areas. I want to also interview some of our former EMS providers who've gone on. They're now respiratory therapists. They're PAs, nurse practitioners, ICU nurses, ER docs, anesthesiologists, okay? Why did they choose that? How did they do it? What advice would they have for us if we were looking to do that? And would they do something different? And then the last piece, it could be called Rants and Raves. I'm going to call it If I Were King. And this was actually recommended to me by a student. So once in a while I'll go off on a little tangent. If I were king, okay, and you've done a nebulizer and you've done an IV, and when I get in your truck doing an intercept, but you don't have vitals for me, you don't have a list of meds for me, and you don't have lung sounds, you simply gave a net because they were short of breath. If I were king, you'd be keel-hauled, okay? That's the other piece to this. And those are just little 1 to 2 minute tidbits to help people remember things that we should be doing better. So right now I have some videos listed NCCP, and those are basically the national hour, some of the national hour requirements. I've started into pharmacology, just a basic review of it, as well as antiemetics. So I plan on 1 educational video a week. I'd like to do 1 interview a week and 1 rant a week. Again, subscribe and like, I appreciate that. If you have questions for me, shoot me an email, emsabounds@gmail.com. Leave comments. I'll be checking on them, and I will answer them as quickly as I can. I appreciate everything that we all do. I thank you for what you do, and I hope that you stay safe, and I look forward to interacting with you a little bit on this platform. Thank you.